Good afternoon, MMTs. You can see here that LinkedIn just the other day, it's ran off of the $192 area straight up to $202. We gapped, we consolidated, we burned it, we consolidated. This is on a 3-minute level, and then today we went parabolically straight up to all-time 52-week highs in Powerhouse LinkedIn, going into the closing bell in about 7 minutes to the close. We will have earnings release after the closing bell. It's very, very important for my new MMTs to see how the name trades up long, how you sell at the high going into the report and getting out of it. They bid it up going into the earnings, MMTs, for my new people, and this is part of the mechanical side of earnings. Sometimes they sell them in the opposite direction. They sell them down going into the report to gap them up from the report. This one here, when you take a look at the lows, was 196.43, and we just put that high of 202.91 in. It's got a $6.48 range. It's done extremely well over the last several quarters. However, we are very cautionary on one thing. We have limit orders to buy at 175.75, 175.50. That's way below these current levels where it's going into. It's a after hours earnings bid. That what would happen in the level 2 is all the bids that are there, they cancel all. There's nothing there in the bid. They drop into that level. You get hit, and then they bounce them right back up to 195 or something like that. It's a perfect way to take advantage of the algorithmic systems that have been deployed, and then the mechanical processes that go on in the level 2 and the bid and ask and all the tricks in here that they pull is they simply do what? Quote jamming is a whole bunch of bids below the market, but when they disappear, there's nothing there. And within milliseconds, you drop to those prices, they snatch the order at the lows, and then they bounce them up. The public has been left out of these kind of trades because who would be able to understand what I am pointing out to you as far as what they do? And once again, this video is already 2 minutes and 40 seconds long. I want this particular live event with my new MMTs. It's about how I buy an equity the day that they report earnings after the close, and how you identify it, and then they make all-time 52-week highs going into the earnings report. So everyone was anticipating a great report. That is yet to be determined. We're going to know after the closing bell. There will be 2 video series part live for new MMTs. One is after how to buy an equity on the day that it reports. If the math is going long and buying the dips and making a series of higher highs and then selling up here, you got to know when to exit. After our earnings will come into play. We close in 4 minutes. Once again, thank you, MMTs. This is how it's done and why it's done. When to sell, identify the breakout, so forth and so on. So once again, it's a very nice way of understanding. Do I short an equity? Would have went the other way. We would have shorted it all the way down and got out at support, took our money. Didn't matter which way it wants to go. It does one of 2 things on the day of the reporting session, which will be shortly after the closing bell. It's 12:57 p.m. 5/2/2013.